Welcome! Have you ever really stopped to wonder why you get that feeling of butterflies in your stomach before a big moment? Or why a really stressful day can end with a very real physical headache? Well, today we're going to explore that incredible superhighway connecting your brain and your body, a system that quietly shapes your health, your mood, and every single choice you make.
So let's start with a feeling I bet you've had. Have you ever had a powerful gut feeling about someone or about a decision you had to make? You know, that deep sense of knowing that doesn't seem to come from your logical thoughts, but from somewhere deeper.
For a long, long time, we've had this tendency to treat the mind and the body as two separate things, almost like a driver and a car. But what science is showing us now is that they're actually one single, deeply interconnected system. You can picture it as a constant two-way conversation that's happening every second of your life. And learning to listen to that conversation, that's the key to understanding your body's signals and starting to work with your biology instead of against it.
By the time we're done here, you'll have a much clearer map of this powerful connection. First, we're going to look at the communication hardware that makes it all possible. Then, we'll get into your gut's surprising intelligence, see how emotions actually become physical, understand how your brain can literally rewire itself, and finally, we'll look at the two competing systems that are always influencing your decisions.
So, your brain and body are designed to work together as one single system. Now, while the newer parts of your brain handle all the complex thinking, there are these deeper, more ancient structures that are basically running your life on autopilot, managing everything from your breathing to the habits you do without a second thought.
A key player in all of this is a part of the brain called the basal ganglia. You can think of this as the efficiency expert in your brain, or its habit center. Its whole job is to look for behaviors you repeat, so it can turn them into automatic routines and save your conscious mind from having to do all that work.
And this slide shows you exactly how that works. Just think back to when you were first learning to drive a car. It took every ounce of your concentration, right? You had to consciously think about every single little action. But as you repeated it day after day, the basal ganglia took over and stored that whole sequence. And now you can probably drive while listening to music or thinking about your day, because the whole process is automated. Your mental energy is freed up.
Okay, so now that we understand the brain's habit center, let's follow that communication superhighway down to another incredible center of intelligence in your body, your gut. It turns out your gut isn't just for digesting your food. Scientists are now calling it a second brain. And for good reason. It holds this massive amount of subconscious intelligence. It's sensing, processing, and storing information in a way that's totally separate from your conscious thinking mind.
And the main channel for this constant gut-to-brain conversation is something called the vagus nerve. The best way to picture it is like a massive fiber optic cable running directly from your gut up to your head. It's a two-way street, constantly sending information back and forth to keep your whole system in balance. What's really fascinating is that something as simple as taking a few slow, deep breaths can actually stimulate this nerve and send calming signals to your entire body.
So the crucial point here is that this gut-brain axis, it's the real biological explanation for that gut feeling. Through this system, your body can pick up on information from your surroundings way faster than your conscious analytical mind ever could. That feeling of being sick to your stomach when you're nervous, that's a perfect example. It's your gut reacting to stress signals before your brain has even had a chance to fully process what's going on. This direct physical connection between the brain and the gut leads us right to our next idea, the fact that emotions aren't just abstract thoughts, they are tangible, physical events that happen inside your body.
Whenever you feel something, it doesn't matter if it's joy or fear or sadness, it is not just in your head. That feeling immediately triggers physical reactions in your body. On a microscopic level, your muscles actually start to activate. From a purely biological standpoint, emotions are physical experiences. Now this is where it gets really interesting. Look at the profound link between emotional and physical pain. Brain scans have actually shown that intense feelings, like social rejection or shame, light up the exact same parts of the brain that activate when you experience physical pain. To your brain, there isn't always a clear difference between a broken heart and a broken bone.
And this explains why we use such physical language to talk about our feelings. When powerful emotions aren't processed or released, they can get stuck or embodied in our physical tissues. This is the biological reality behind feeling a literal heartache in your chest after a loss, or feeling the weight of the world as real physical tension in your neck and shoulders when you're stressed out.
Seeing how deeply our emotions affect us physically really shows you the power of our inner world. And this leads us to a really remarkable concept. Your brain is not a fixed, static object. It's dynamic. It's constantly changing and adapting based on your experiences.
This is one of the most fundamental principles in all of neuroscience. And what it means, in simple terms, is that your brain is highly changeable. It is not set in stone. It is constantly reorganizing itself, forming new connections and strengthening old ones between brain cells, based on what you do, what you think, and what you focus on.
You can think of it like this. Every time you repeat a thought or an action, you're paving a road in your brain. The very first time, it's like trying to walk through a thick, overgrown forest. It's hard work. But with intense focus and repetition, you start to wear down a path, making it wider, smoother, and much easier to travel the next time. And just so you know, this whole brain-building process is really energy-intensive. It requires a lot of fuel, like glucose, to make it happen.
Now, hearing that it takes so much effort to change our brain might lead you to ask a really logical question. If I can consciously choose to rewire my brain, why do my automatic emotional reactions sometimes feel so powerful, so hard to control? Well, the answer comes down to understanding that your mind is kind of operating with two different systems. You have System 1, which is fast, automatic, and intuitive. This is where your emotions and instincts live. And then you have System 2, which is slow, effortful, and analytical. That's your conscious reasoning, which is governed by the newer part of your brain, the prefrontal cortex.
And here's the key. Your deliberate System 2 works kind of like a muscle. It has a limited supply of energy and it can get tired. So when you're stressed or tired or just mentally overloaded, its strength gets depleted. And when that happens, the fast, automatic, and highly emotional System 1 just steps right in and takes over. This is exactly why it's so hard to think rationally or resist an impulse when you're running on empty.
Okay, let's just take a moment here to pull everything together and summarize the key parts of this incredible brain-body superhighway that we've just explored. So we've seen how your basal ganglia automates your habits to make your life more efficient. We've learned that your gut acts like a second brain, talking to your head through that superhighway, the vagus nerve. We've uncovered that emotions are very real physical events. And, finally, we've seen that your brain isn't fixed. It's always rewiring itself based on where you put your attention.
You know, the most important point to take away from all of this is that by simply understanding this system, this constant conversation happening between your mind and body, you get the ability to work with your own biology. This understanding, it's truly the foundation for improving your own well-being.
And that brings us to a final question for you to think about. Knowing what you know now, what is one small, consistent habit you could start to nurture this vital brain-body connection? It could be as simple as taking a few deep breaths when you feel stress creeping in, or just paying a little more attention to your gut feelings. Go ahead and share your ideas in the comments below. You never know who you might inspire. Thank you so much for watching. If this helped you understand yourself a little better, please give the video a like and subscribe for more deep dives into how our minds and bodies work. We'll see you in the next one.